Hey guys, it's Brandon Woolum, and today we are checking in with our friend Samara C. Pals. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks, Brandon. I'm so excited to be here today.
Yeah, as we sit here, we are just days away now from your new song "Every Day" coming out. It'll be out there this Friday, May 15th. Uh, Before we get into the song, though, let's hear a little bit about your story because a lot of folks watching this may be their first exposure to you. So give us the Samara story first.
Definitely. I'll try to give you the abridged version. But grew up in small town Iowa, always loved music, actually ended up studying classical voice at Northwestern in Chicago, and then made my way down to Nashville to be a singer-songwriter, I thought, work in Christian music, and ended up actually losing my dad to cancer in my early 20s and really struggled to sing and perform. And, from there was just sort of asking God, what do you want me to do next? If I can't sing this thing I thought I was going to do the rest of my life, what should I do next? And so ended up going to law school, thinking I'd still work at a label, get to be an artist rep or something like that and still be in the industry, but ended up actually, doing something completely different. But during that time started writing. Really started writing in earnest. A lot of healing that came through losing my dad and losing some other family members in a really difficult couple of year period there in my late 20s, 30-ish. And so I was able to really process through that pain writing and started to coach and release about 10 years ago now as my first singles came out. And so music for me has just been a part of that like worship and healing journey. I've always been in church, and I think the closest I feel to God is like when I'm worshiping, when I'm writing. And so it's a little bit about me. Now I just, write and hope that these songs will bless and encourage people along the way.
Yeah, well, like we said here, in just a couple of days, we're going to hear your new song "Every Day" out everywhere on the 15th. A song that it appears has been in the works for a little bit of time. Talk
It
to us about,
has.
yeah, tell us a
Yes,
little bit
yeah, it
about this
has.
track.
I'm so excited about it. It's actually one of the first co-writes that I'm going to release. And so it was written with a couple of other wonderful ladies, Geely and Deanna Simmons. And we wrote it about 3 years ago already. And when it came to deciding the final songs for this album project, it's all based around the passage of John 15. Be abide, the vine passage, remain in me, and I'll remain in you. And one of the key points in that passage is that when we remain, we bear fruit. Right. And so the spiritual fruit of gratitude, it just seemed like this was the perfect song to put on the album. And then the first song to release, just because this project itself has been in the works for about 3 years now. And so it's taken me a little longer to get it out than I had initially expected. But I really want the first thing that we say about the music to be just that gratitude to God for everything he's done through it, what we've learned, and just the joy and celebration that he's with us in all of those little details. So I'm really excited about that and excited for it to be the first co-write that I've released. So
Yeah, this full project, was it all written in one session, or has this been throughout several years that you've pieced this all together?
several years. There's three. It'll be about half co-writes and half just my originals. The whole process was written sort of during my pregnancy and kind of first year that my son was born. Maybe one of the reasons it took a little bit longer than I expected. But it actually goes back to the really something that happened to me in my early 20s. I've wanted to write out of this passage ever since I heard a sermon one day on this passage, and just that passage around the joy of the Lord overflows, right? When we abide in him, we receive like joy overflowing. And that has just stuck with me for so long. And so I had this on the list because I write very sort of topically. And I've had it on the list and really just felt a few years ago that this was the time for it, that this was the next topic I was going to step into. And yeah, just felt that nudge from the Holy Spirit and ended up writing sort of through that process. And so I think that's reflected on a lot of the songs, just the joy and the patience in waiting and the joy that comes in the morning.
Yeah, well, we'll get this first single in a few days. When are we going to get the rest of this project out there on playlist?
So be looking for some additional singles this summer and then the fall. So targeting an October release for the album.
That's awesome. In this culture that we often focus on what's next, why do you think it's important for believers to intentionally recognize what God is doing in these everyday moments for us?
I think our faith is built I mean, our faith is about what we wake up and do every day, right? We talk about the hidden years of Jesus. We talk about the wilderness seasons or the shepherding seasons, right? We talk about the faithfulness in the little things, and those who are faithful in little will be faithful with much, right? I think it's so important for our faith and how we turn to God and just celebrate the ordinary, celebrate how he truly, the God of the universe, meets us every day. Every day he's there and accessible to us to help us with the little things and the big things. And I think that that's where a lot of the joy and the peace come, when you're really able to keep your focus on him in everyday moments.
Yeah, we'll get this song out here this Friday every day. Was there something when you were writing this, a particular lyric that kind of hit you more emotionally when you were going through this process of either the writing or the recording of it?
I actually think the first line is my favorite. It goes up from there, I'm sure. But it's every day your mercies are new. It sort of harkens back to that Lamentations concept that, we get our daily bread every day. We get our daily bread new every morning. We get manna new, fresh every morning from God. He never fails. He's never failed me. He's never failed, he's never failed anyone. And I think we just need that reminder as humans trying to work through this life, trying to be faithful to what he's called us to. I think we just need that reminder each and every moment. And so I hope that encourages people and helps them look up in the morning.
Yeah. You talked about this song being around for 3 years or so. Has it changed much and evolved over that 3 years? Or is it kind of, this is what the original song sounded like when it came to you 3 years ago with your worship team?
So I think I had come with an original idea for a chorus. And I think with my background, everything I write initially sounds a little musical theater-y, classical kind of. I think the ladies really took it to something that's just sort of a fun, upbeat, great way to start your day, kind of song. And so I think that it definitely evolved through the writing process. I think the production on it is just really, it's like really, it's a very pleasant, easy track to listen to. And so I don't think it's necessarily evolved a ton through the production, but it's just been a sweet song to record. And even when you're in the studio, it gives you that like smile on your face when you're listening to it and when I was singing through it. So I think you can tell that from the track.
Yeah, we got to hear some of your resume earlier. So many things that you've got going on. Some of that includes being on your local church worship team. How does that shape your songwriting and ministry?
I think I've learned so much from that. Again, coming from a more classical background, I approach writing and thinking about that so differently from sort of a traditional theory perspective versus a lot of people approach from just a melodic perspective or a lyric or a verse or something that they come to. And so it's been so fun. We will do write nights with our team or these like writing groups is how we used to format it. But just to get to write with other people to see how they approach songwriting, I've learned so much about my own style. I've grown so much in terms of how I approach songs, when you start thinking about, okay, I play keys moderately, not well, but I will usually write from the keyboard, but people who are writing from guitar and how they approach a chord progression and things like that is just so interesting and so helpful.
Yeah, as we go throughout this year and get some more singles, get ready for this fall release of this full project, people may be going back and searching your name to learn more about these tracks. What's the one you can't wait for people to hear? Right now, we don't know anything else about the project, but eventually we're going to get a track listing. Which one should we go back and make sure to give a real good listen?
I love the track called Overflow. That's my favorite on the album. If you can have favorites, if you can have favorite songs, that's the one that I think is really the heart of the album, and what I think for me centers the whole project.
How many tracks are we going to get when this project is fully finished?
7 tracks fully finished, 6 originals, and then I've got a hymn on there with a new bridge and chorus. So hopefully people will enjoy that as well.
Yeah, a few times
I
here.
grew up on hymns, so
yeah. We've talked about your busy life. Is that going to allow you to take this on the road at all and maybe perform in some other cities that may have not seen you before?
I hope so. I'm hoping to get some local dates here. We'll see. We live sort of south of Atlanta. There's a lot of sort of smaller venues down here, so I'm hoping to get some live videos and stuff out for people to see and follow along with as well, so they can get to know me a little better in the coming months.
Yeah, well, if people have made it this far, they're ready to book you, they're ready to listen to this music. Where do they look you up at?
Can't wait. Samara C Pals is my website. Spotify, Samara C Pals, Apple Music, wherever you listen to your music, you should be able to find it. So check me out, and all my stuff's there. Reach out if you want to connect.
Yeah, and then this week on Friday, May 15th, the new single will be out there every day. The first of many new songs you're going to hear from Samara C Pals this year.